So I'm here with the cast and crew of the fantasy film Faithful. Thank you guys for being here today. Can we go down the line and you guys tell me who you are and who you play or what your role is in the film?
Yep, my name is Lindsay Jenkins and I'm the line producer on set.
Hi, I'm Lucy Linger, I'm the director.
Hi, I'm Lily McGuire and I play Valia.
Yeah, I'm Fraser and I'm the writer-producer.
And I'm Valerie and I'm a producer as well.
Awesome. So my first question I have for you guys is, without spoiling too much of the film, if each of you could describe this project in one word, what would you choose and why?
Well, Scottish, I'm sorry, it's not one word, it's Scottish folklore,
Yes,
fairy tales.
Scottish was going to be mine. Magical.
Adventure?
Epic.
Dogs.
Lily, you play a character who, shall we say, is on the quest to reunite with someone very close to her. What was your favorite part about working on this film?
I think the people, it was my first project that I'd done, so like the crew and the other actors, like I was working with people that were a lot more experienced, and they gave so many good tips and advice for not only this project but the future as well.
Awesome. Because this film is heavily themed around Scottish lore, what in particular drew you guys to the story?
That'll be me one time.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with folklore since as far as I can remember, and we just don't tell enough Scottish folklore in Scotland, and we don't really explore that IP. And I just thought, when it was for a Disney pitch, and they wanted something based on the word evolve. So I went from a Rolodex of 52 Scottish fairy tales, and I saw the Cú-Síth, which is the fairy dog, and I was like, I could just see it perfectly in my mind, like this red-headed girl and this green dog made of leaves, and it was just something about that just linked in my head, and I just could not shake it, and I was like, right, we're telling this story.
Awesome. And while I was watching this, I particularly liked the special effects that you guys used. Was it difficult to do?
Yes. It was ridiculous as well as difficult. I kind of feel like if you made a list for people of what you shouldn't do in a short film, you know, you've got kids, you've got animals, you've got VFX, you've got exteriors, night shoots, like we literally tick them all off. But the thing that's really particularly tricky with the VFX is that you have like a whole character that doesn't exist on set. And so even in the first assembly edit, that character still doesn't exist. So you're kind of like, so Lily will say this, and then big nothing space will be saying something once the VFX happens. So that I found that really interesting once we got into VFX, and suddenly there is this big scary red dog. And we had somebody who sort of watched a test of the assembly before the VFX with that, and they were like, well, she was so excited, and now suddenly she's terrified. Why? And I'm like, just wait and see, because there's going to be a dog that's on fire, like barking in her face. So yeah, it really just completely transforms the whole thing, and we didn't want to keep it simple with the VFX and just have VFX. We wanted to have like full CG animation, and then also VFX added to a real live dog. So there was a difference there between the VFX. So some of it is you're starting from absolutely nothing and designing a character from scratch, and some of it is like, this is what the dog looks like, what would it look like if it was on fire and covered in magic and lime green. And so that was, we worked with a special effects artist called Peter Butler, who's been in the industry for a really long time, and he was fabulous to create both of those kind of worlds, and then the portal and everything as well. So yeah, it was a lot.
And the dog was perfectly fine to work with easily.
Yeah, the dog is funny because the dog sometimes does what you ask, sometimes doesn't do what you ask, and sometimes does things that you're like, what's happening now? This is amazing. Like, there's a really fantastic moment where the dog just did something instinctively, and I was like, I had the monitor here and I'm looking at the crew like, what is happening? The dog's doing. So afterwards I was like, if anyone ever asks, I directed that dog to do that, and he did it perfectly. So, but yeah, overall, you've got to kind of, we did a teaser first, so we had experience work. That was my first time working with animals, but that helped to give us a sense of what we could and couldn't achieve with the dog.
And also the filming locations were really beautiful. For people that might not know a lot about Scotland or like the locations and stuff like that, like where did you guys film this?
Good God. To be fair, we essentially went more through Airbnb. and we found a bit more to the southeast of Glasgow. We found a couple of like farms and places where people go on vacation to do like hill walking, to do a lot of more, outdoorsy activities. But we found a couple of places that had the exact look. But mostly it was the generosity of the people that own these Airbnbs. They were quite excited about having a big project there, and their properties are like, the more you leave the city, in Glasgow you hop on a train and like half an hour away and you're in the proper countryside. So if you want to get, very beautiful spaces, you don't have to look that far. So we were very lucky that Fensfoot Farm was one of the ones that, we just did another shoot a couple of weeks ago. So I'm trying not to mix up the locations. Yeah, one was called Blackshaw Farms and Fensfoot Farms. Yeah. And they were just amazing hosts. They let us stay there, use their exteriors. So if anyone's looking to travel to Scotland, there's so many locations that you could get to, like half an hour away from any of the big cities.
Cool. And do you guys have anything else planned for the future? Is there going to be any type of any more Scottish folklore type films possibly?
Yes, girl.
We have a whole slate. We've got a Buffy meets Outlander kind of franchise. We want to turn the short into a feature because as we were making it, we're not done yet. I know it has a very clear beginning, middle, and end, but working with you in particular, we're just not done yet. And you and I are writing it now. And developing that and trying to get some funding because we all need the money.
Well, also now, Lindsay's got such a great crew up there that she brings to the project each time. So we know them now, and as Val was saying, we've just done another shoot, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we did, which was different for us. It was a comedy sort of proof of concept that we've just shot. Last weekend, actually. Yeah. So we were all on set together for 2 really long days. So it's nice that we can all dip into these different projects and. Essentially folklore is where we want to focus on, but it's nice that we can have these little things on the side that we can all work on together and create our little universe.
And you've got a really exciting idea.
I do, that I'm working on at the moment. Yeah.
Can you share?
More? Yeah, sure. It's a children's, so more for children's TV concept based on Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. So.
It's nice because we've got a largely Scottish cast and crew, but obviously Val and I are not Scottish. But we have our own, we bring our own things to that folklore and folktale kind of world, and also it's great to have outside eyes, and how is Scotland viewed, how is the folktales viewed from outside as well, and making sure that those stories that we're telling are truly international and can really travel, which obviously is being shown here. We're in LA with the Scottish story, which we're really excited to share. And again, like Val was saying, the locations, Scotland itself is like another character in the movie. It's such a stunning country, and I've sort of, since I've been going up and down now quite a lot for work, I'm just I've become a little bit of a sales agent, tourist agency for Scotland, because everywhere I go and people say they haven't been, I'm just it is just stunning. Whether you're making films over there or just going to see what the country has to offer, the people are so friendly, the locations are glorious, it's going to rain. But that's why it's so green and beautiful. So it's
4 days filming and it just rained sideways.
Oh my gosh!
But it was nice because we filmed 2 days in March and then 2 days in April, and it was consistent. So at least we had that on our side. You couldn't. It wasn't like it was beautiful.
Yeah, we didn't really have to worry.
And the story was adventure. We needed the drama.
We needed the drama.
And Lily had a wind machine that was just.
Scotland.
We didn't need to hire anything, a rain machine or a wind machine, because we have that naturally. So.
Take that, Universal.
Well, do you have any questions, Noah?
Independent film in Scotland, how is it, do you find it different than in America? And then why come to WonderCon? Do you guys have stuff like that there to think? Or do you want to just bring it to this market as well?
We just like you were saying, that it's international. We want to tell in an international scale. I'm always local stories tell globally, or glocal is the word I hate, but it is. But taking it out to a wider, we want as many eyeballs in this as possible.
Yeah, we want to
as
tell
many
these stories.
people.
We want the world to know, because there's so much untapped Scottish folklore that people have never heard of. and we just want the world to hear these stories and see what they're about.
We're at London MCM Comic Con as well at the end of May, and we're out at Cannes, and so we're just taking it out as many places as we can to just get the word out.
I think we're just really proud of it as well, because it was a stupidly ambitious short film, like you're saying, like dogs, children, rain, outdoors, and we're just so proud of what we managed to pull off on a, it's a £25,000 budget. It was nothing. Like, I think when we kept doing the film festival in Glasgow, they're like, oh yeah, low budget is £500,000, and we're like, whoa, we had no money then.
And especially for VFX, obviously, it's so expensive, and so it was really ambitious what we tried to do, and we feel like it's got so much heart to it, and it's very different from a lot of other short films as well. There seems to be a bit of a kind of format that's coming through, that when people want to make a short film, one of the things I loved about it when I read the script was that the character arc is just huge. The journey that she goes on in like 15 minutes is massive, whereas you do sometimes see that, it's like a slice of life kind of thing, a bit more, whereas this is like a real plot, plotty plot, isn't it?
A plotty plot, yeah.
A plotty plot. She's got a good, she's got a clear goal. There's really big stakes, and she's just, really going for it. So
we kept saying more stakes, higher stakes.
And I think the other thing that's super important, and that's more credit to you, this was completely crowdfunded.
Yeah.
So there's people from all over the world that were like, we love your, we love the concept, we love the idea, we love all of this. Here's our money. So like, people are trusting you with their money. But like in a good way. I think it's a good way. Like, people are seeing it and they're like, oh, this deserves my money, and people are contributing to it. So we're essentially just being like, people want to see this, just help us show it to everyone.
Yeah. And we are, a lot of money did come from like America, Canada, Germany, China. Like, it was crazy. Like, we did really hit across the board. So we want to take it to all these places and go, look, you helped us make this. Here it is. Do you want to help us do it again? Do you want to help us make it bigger?
Make it bigger.
That was the feedback we had at the premiere in Scotland, especially from some of the younger audiences. Like, the only problem is it wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes, exactly. We want to bring the feature. We want to do TV series with these characters. But that's where the funding aspect comes in.
There is no support in Scotland. Like, it's just that simple. There is a funding body, but they just don't support you. And we have banged our heads against that wall many, many times. So we have to take it out for review.
It's tricky, I think, making commercial art anywhere in the world, really. I think there seems to be a kind of balance where things that are not commercial can get funding because they understand you can't make it because there's no commercial aspect to it. But then if you're commercial, then they kind of feel like, well, then it should be commercially viable. But the problem is when you're first starting, you've just got to have, it's a cash flow issue. You've just got to have that funding there to be able to make it, to then be able to recoup. So I think it is a problem, a global problem, really, that you get this, work that's got real artistic integrity but is also commercially viable, that just kind of falls through the cracks of funding from people that are sort of starting out. So I think it's tricky.
I know from like an American audience perspective, I feel like a lot of us are craving like original movies, original content, and so seeing your guys' film made me want to see even more. So yeah, like,
Really good feedback.
But we're hearing that, everyone that we're speaking to, especially in America, they're like, we need more stories like this. Like, it's Marvel, DC, or nothing.
Yeah.
So like, and don't get me wrong, Marvel fanboy over here. Like, I'm wearing my Spider-Man socks. But it's just like, we have so much history and story, like Scottish storytelling and folklore, like literally started at year dot in Scotland, and it was the grandmothers and the mothers that carried it on and told these stories for generations and generations and generations, and it's kind of dying out a little bit. There are still some storytellers, so as Scottish people in particular, like, we're very protective of that heritage, and we just want to make sure that story keeps getting told.
And I think that's interesting as well that Fraser always says it's the grandmothers and the mothers that are telling the story. We're a very strongly female crew, and as you can see here, we are. And that's always been important to me. I run Lingalonga Films, and Fraser and Lindsay are Silly Wee Films, and that's always been really important to both of us, to make sure that we have that. diverse like gaze, making sure that we've got a group of people that are all bringing different lived experiences to what we're doing behind the scenes, and I think that really comes across on the work that we make.
What is it like to be able to interact right with the audience, to get like immediate feedback? You can show it here and just kind of like...
It just, even like when we did the premiere,
Yeah.
like that was, you know, it was 118 people, and yes, some of them were cast and crew, but a lot of people that bought tickets, like people who we didn't know. Like, I think my key strength was like promotion and hopefully writing, but hopefully that's it. But I think it's just really important, like, to get the word out, and we did have a lot of people at that premiere who had no investment in it whatsoever, and they were coming up to us and they loved it, and they wanted more of it, and a lot of them were just complimenting Lily and said that Lily is the heart of it and Lily carries it. The music got a lot of praise as well.
Really
So I think just bringing it out to, like, you know, WonderCon and hopefully San Diego as well, and whoever wants us will come to.
Also being in the room with an audience and hearing them react to the bits that you hope they're going to react to
Laughing
is
at the right
just
bits.
laughing and oh and ooh and you know you that's what you want to hear, because that's your intention when you're making it. You're thinking like, this is going to make them go wow, and when you're in the room with them and that is exactly what happens, it's just it's the best.
Lindsay works in theatre a bit as well, and so do I, and you get used to that, the fact that the end product is always in front of an audience, and with film so often that you don't have that experience, and so it's been really great to have that kind of instant reaction from the audience, especially I think in post-production. Like, people don't always say this, but it's such a like roller coaster where you're like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing ever, and then you're like, I hate it change it, why we even did it, right? And then you're like, and then you leave it, you go away for a week to do something else, and you come back and you're like, oh man, this is really good again. Like, so you go through it, and in the end you're just like, my brain is mush, I have no idea now, like I need somebody else. And then of course you start showing some people, but then you're like, yeah, but that person cares about me, and this person cares about the film, and this person knows Lily, and you know, it kind of gradually like spreads out. So then being able to put it in front of an audience where they have nothing invested in it and they don't know any of you, and they're just literally like raw.
And this is our second public
Screening, of
like
this
we
film.
showed it in March 8th in front of 118 people, and then no one's seen it since pretty much.
We'll see how it goes.
So we're like, okay.
Well, we're excited for it.
We just hope people come to the room. That's what we're all like. If there's more of us on the stage than there are in the audience, we're going to be a bit sad about
maybe
that.
we've been a bit wrong. So.
Yeah, but hopefully people will come along and see it.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time to chat with us, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your WonderCon.
Thank you.